I'm making an exception. I'm doing something that I don't like to do. It's un-American. It's unmarked. But this exception is needed. I'm about to address a group as a group rather than as individuals. But it's important because this is a group that has been condescended to. It's African Americans that have been addressed as a monolithic bloc by progressives, okay, leaders of my Democrat Party. The condescension is, I think, disgusting, and most importantly, it actually hurts blacks. In 3 words, I'll put it succinctly, and you've heard it before. Black lives matter. But progressive policies do not help in this regard, or they don't help nearly as much as liberty-minded policies. Let's take a few things. Black education matters. And so it's unfortunate that progressives, with the support of big teacher unions, don't improve education very well. We don't have merit pay. We don't have the best teachers in urban schools where they might be needed the most. Things stay put. It's something that David Duke, a vile racist, couldn't be happier about. The situation of urban schools where many blacks don't graduate, many do graduate but can't read very well. They're products of bad schools that could easily be better with a choice in schools regime. Black training matters. Progressives, they give training money to dreamers who were not born here. That should be going to African Americans who were born here. They're taking places in colleges that deserve to go to African Americans instead. Black youth matters. Yet there are policies that eliminate youth jobs. And black youth don't get as good opportunities when illegal aliens take their jobs, and government doesn't seem to crack down. Both Republicans and Democrats are culpable here. Black babies matter. Margaret Sanger, who did not like blacks, she's won. Her abortion-centric attitude is the attitude of the modern Democrat Party. And the result has been decimating. It might be worse than a death, 1 in 10, because blacks, who number about 1 in 8, okay, have 1 in 3 abortions. Yeah, 12% of the population and nearly 34% of the abortions in this country. So why do bright people keep voting for people who do not legislate in their interests? It's a little bit akin to the progressives of 100 years ago, okay? Those were white urbanites, and they moved policy greatly in the teens and 20s and 30s. But you know who got left behind? It was blacks. They did not progress. In many ways, they were victimized in a Jim Crow situation in the South, and in the North, they didn't have quite the same economic opportunities, even though the civil rights were better. So here's progressives a century later, I think, continuing to leave African Americans out of intelligent policy. So why buy in? Well, look, maybe there's that brief aspect. Uncle Eustace has a job with the group that does urban renewal. Doesn't want to leave that job, and they're the liberals who provided that. Auntie Victoria is a school teacher, and the teachers union went out of their way to recruit her because she was black. But now she's kind of tethered and has a hard time leaving for either a better school or a different career that might be more to her suiting. I'd like to see more African Americans voting independently of what some of the urban leaders say. They do not have your long-term interests in mind. To their great credit, many African Americans, those who've actually come to the United States in this generation from Africa, they keep the Democrat Party at bay. Those from Senegal, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, they typically vote Republican. Now, Trump has confused things within the Republican Party. The Republican Party is not very principled under Trump. So it's kind of a free-for-all, and maybe the independents will rise among African American voters. I hope to at least make the case, and there's more to come, why the Democrat leaders of today are not friends of African Americans.